This week, we're going to be taking a look at creating both productive and positive and inclusive learning environments. But before we really delve into your assignments, I wanted to stop for a minute and give you my tips for creating a positive learning environment. So these are the Karen Bognovic tips. These are not from your text or from any other source. This is just from over my years of experience in the field of education. What would I suggest to you as a new beginning teacher? If you don't take away anything else from this class, I hope it's this. It is so important for you to build personal relationships with your students before you worry about anything academically. So get to know your students on a personal level. I've told you previously, every day we would share good things, so students would have the opportunity to share something good that has either happened to them or something good they've done for somebody else. I would always greet my students at the door. I would greet them by name. We would do fist bumps. I would also, too, try to make time for my students outside the classroom. So if my students were involved in sports or if they were involved in chorus or band, I would try to make it a point to always go see one of those events outside of class, because I want my students to know, like, I care about you not just as a student, I care about you as a person first and foremost. Also, creating routines and classroom norms. I don't care if you are a kindergartner or middle school student or high school student. We as human beings like routine. We like to know what to expect when we walk into an environment, and your students will feel more comfortable. They will be better behaved. You'll have better classroom management if you establish some type of routine. For example, my students knew when they came in through the door, you need to grab your warm-up folder. You need to turn in your homework. You need to complete your warm-up. We're then going to do good things. We're then going to do a fun rebus puzzle. And then we're going to do our lesson, whether that be group work or me up at the front of the board. And then at the end, you're always going to have some type of exit ticket. This is not to say you have the same lesson plan every day, because that's boring. Your students are not going to be engaged. But the routine generally needs to be the same in order to create that positive learning environment. Provide feedback and praise, and I'm not just talking academically. You should certainly provide feedback academically, but provide feedback behaviorally as well. I would challenge you to always look for moments in which that student that has that high-flying behavior issue, look for moments during the day where that student has done something positive and give them praise, specific praise on that positive behavior. Not only that, I would challenge you to call their parents and give them the feedback on the positive behavior that they have exhibited, because more likely than not, those parents are always getting phone calls about negative behavior. Look for the positive opportunities, and those students are going to be so much more motivated to behave positively in your classroom because they know that feedback is coming. Create an inviting environment. And a lot of you have already mentioned this in previous forum posts, but your students are going to notice the environment in which they are learning. Is it comfortable? Is it warm? Is it inviting? Are you displaying student work? Students are going to be much more, inclined to exceed academically when they're working in a comfortable, inviting environment. And then last but not least, remember to always make time for fun. All too often we see classroom environments that are always so serious, and that I as the teacher need to be the one at the front of the classroom, all eyes on me, everybody needs to be quiet. Make time for fun. Make it engaging. Make it so students, again, want to behave because they want to be a part of your awesome activity and your fun classroom environment. Don't be afraid to show your personality. Don't be afraid to share things about yourself. Don't be afraid to make fun of yourself or mess up and laugh about it. Students need to see that. I will say, looking back, teaching 7th grade, one of the best experience was during one of those fundraising events. They were like, okay, teachers, like, we need volunteers for an activity. And I am not normally the person that gets up in front of, a whole entire auditorium of students. But sometimes, life's too short, y'all. So I was like, okay, me and my friend Mandy volunteered, and we put on those sumo suits and wrestled in front of an auditorium of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, your students need to see that. Your students need to see your personality. I still have students 15 years later who bring that up from time to time. So don't be afraid to have fun in your classroom. With that being said, let's take a look at your assignments for this week. The first thing I want you to do is read chapter 6, and there are so many great suggestions in chapter 6 that I feel like you can use as a future educator. So I would really encourage you to take notes and keep it somewhere as you go throughout this journey, and then implement some of these strategies when you get your own classroom. The next thing I want you to do is a forum post on creating a positive learning environment. I think one of the best ways that we can grow as educators is to learn from each other. So I know you all have great ideas on how to create a positive learning environment. And so again, I hope you use this platform as a way to hear other ideas and maybe find something that you could implement in your future class. And then the last thing you're going to do is take a quiz on chapter 6. If you have any questions about either of these two assignments, please just let me know.